a season of solitude, of separateness, of aloneness. I was alone in this new life, and I had to do it for myself. No matter how great everyone was around me, no matter how much support you have, you must live this new life alone. And it's hard. All of my relationships got renegotiated, some for the better, some for the worse. You know, as you meet new people, you have this trauma and crisis, and that took up so much time and space in your world. And for me, it was so many years that I literally had nothing to talk about. I would meet new people. They would be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm here for the summer." "Oh, well, what do you do for a living?" And I tell them, and I'd be, "Oh, are you working this summer?" "Well, not very much." And, "Well, why is that?" And grieving and dead husband. It was just everything led to dead husband. I literally had nothing else to talk about. "What have you been doing?" "Nothing." "Where are you going?" "Nowhere." Everything was at an end because enough time has to pass, enough life has to happen, have anything to talk about, to have anything new to introduce, that I didn't have to wear this widow label. And, you know, people have judgment about widows and how much sadness they exude or not. Was I sad enough? I mean, one of the things that was pointed out by my therapist in probably like week 2, maybe, because I hired 3 grief therapists right after Dan died and sorted from there. And one of them said, "I notice you're not wearing a wedding ring." And I said, "No." And she's like, "Has anyone noticed that you're not wearing the ring?" And I was like, "Oh, yes, they've noticed." She's like, "Have they said anything?" And I was like, "Oh, they've got lots to say about the fact that I'm not wearing this wedding ring." And she's like, "Well, let me take a guess as to why you're not wearing this ring." And I said, "Okay." And she said, "Well, could it be because you're just not married anymore?" That's 100% why I'm not wearing the ring. To me, it was about aligning to the reality of my life, whether I liked it or I didn't. And now for other people, it's different. So there's not a judgment on my side about whether or not you should or shouldn't wear wedding rings after someone dies. It's irrelevant. For me, it was about aligning to my actual circumstance, whether I liked it or whether I didn't. It was not about comfort. It was about reality. I just could not rely on what to me felt like false comfort. I needed to get really clear about my role, my life, who and what I am. And that first year, people call it a year of first. I think that's just terrible. It's a terrible thought of first birthday, first anniversary, first Christmas, terrible. All of it is awful. So I didn't call it that at all. I decided I would have a year of feeling brave. And I found ways to express bravery. Some of that was joining a writing circle. Some of that was doing voice lessons. I just did things that made me feel brave. And even though I wanted to say no to every single thing, because I wanted to say no to every single thing, I don't even like saying yes on a good day, quite frankly. I always want to say no to every single thing. I just made myself say yes to a lot of things that I did not want or that I did not like. And I didn't do that about things like, the holidays and how we're going to celebrate. I did not make myself say yes to all of those things per se. Just some things I have made myself say yes. For example, I remember that summer after Dan passed, I said, well, anything that anybody asks me to do that is outside, I will say yes. I will say yes. And I will go and do anything. I went kayaking. I'd never been kayaking. I just did things, even if it was against my nature, to feel brave. And I studied my grief. I sat in it. I worked through it. And everything is awkward and everything is terrible and there is no comfort in grief. People are lovely and they try to bring comfort, but there is no comfort. And the people that really brought me the most comfort were the ones that knew that there is no comfort, the ones that knew they could just be with me in grief. And none of those things helped me feel a part of things. None of those things made me feel part of our society. I felt outside of our society. I was separate and I needed to make my own way. That's how I felt. And, you know, I wasn't wrong.